Hello and welcome back to STS Software Testing Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to run a Spec Flow test against different browsers. The agenda for today is to create a Spec Flow browser test using Selenium Web Driver, run the test locally on Visual Studio, run the test on Azure DevOps, and then pass the browser variable to execute against different browsers during runtime on Azure. And finally, we verify that the correct browser is used to open the test page. So the first thing we're going to look at is, before we show you how it's done, and this is the intended action. So we're going to go to this web page here and click on this link and then verify that this link here exists, Elemental Selenium. So we're going to run the test locally using Visual Studio, and then we'll run it on Azure DevOps. So I've already created the code for this, but I'll just explain to you the key elements of this code. So in here, we've created a feature file. So we just want the scenario is to check the web page link can be clicked. And obviously, we're going to run this through different browsers. So given that I'm on the web test page, when I click on the data table link, I expect to see the web link on the page. So we've created or we've binded these steps in this scenario to our code. So in the given section, so the main section here is this line here, this section here. So we have a browser variable, and this is where we're going to store the environmental variable name. So, and this can be passed to Azure DevOps for execution at runtime. So, and then we use what we call a switch. So here we're saying if the variable is Firefox, then we run this the test using Firefox browser. If it's Internet Explorer, it's Explorer. If it's Edge, and if it's Chrome. And if nothing is passed, then we will use Firefox driver. So notice here that stating that the location is where the assembly is resides, rather than the complete path where it is running. So the driver will be stored in where the assembly is. And then here in the when section, so we're saying here, maximize the window, open this link, and wait for a period of time, and find the element to click on. Then the element there will be an element has on that page with this text. So we're making sure that this element text exists when we click on that page. So let's run this locally on Visual Studio. So in here, because there is no way to pass this variable, it will execute using Firefox as the default browser. So let's run it now. Here we go. So it has opened the Firefox. Open the page, clicked on it, and checked that this element exists. And the test passed. Okay. So because we didn't specify the because we hadn't passed, there's no way to pass this variable here locally. So we just use the Firefox. Now, what we're going to do now, we're going to run it on Azure DevOps. So here I've already created a pipeline to run the test on Azure DevOps. The pipeline consists of a number of steps. I can just briefly explain to you what we're doing. So here we're saying get sources, get the code from the repository, and restore the all the dependencies or nugget packages. do the build, publish it, publish the artifact in the output directory, and then execute the test. So this is what we're going to do. Now, because we are using the pipeline, we are able to specify the variable or which browser we're going to use. So if you go to the variable section, so if you remember browser, so this is the variable name that we specified here. It's this one here. So there, what we're saying here is we specify that it's Internet Explorer. So it will override the default setting in the code, because on the default setting we set Firefox. But here it will be Internet Explorer. So let's see what happens when we run the pipeline. Here we go. It may take up to 2 minutes to complete the tasks. So just waiting for it to launch. While waiting for this to complete, there's two ways of running the tests on Azure Pipeline. Either using the local agent, or using the Azure Pipeline. So in this case, I'm using the Azure Pipeline. So they are executed on the cloud. There is no way for us to see the browser physically being launched, but we will be able to look on the log, and it will tell us whether it has launched Internet Explorer or the default Firefox. So at the moment, it has run, initialized it. It has checked out all the code from the repository. It's restoring all the dependencies. Now it's restoring the nuggets, all the packages. So far, so good. It can take sometimes for it to complete the execution. Obviously, this is in the cloud rather than locally. So it's still doing the nugget restore successfully then, and now it's building. So it's going to build the project. And the build was successful. And now it's going to publish the artifact to the output directory. And now it's executing the test. So obviously we won't be able to see the browser being launched, but we'll be able to see evidence in the code that it has started Internet Explorer. In fact, I've just seen it. We can just go back to it when it's all done. For reference, I have a total number of 10 tests, but I'm ignoring 9 of them. I'm only running 1 just to speed things up. So the test looks like they've been executed successfully and all passed. So let's look on the log, and we look for evidence that it has opened Internet Explorer and not Firefox. So if we go down a bit, so here we go. So as you can see here, it's saying started Internet Explorer server. So this proved that it has picked the variable name, and the test passed. So let's do another run and change the variable name. Let's say we want to run it using Edge, Microsoft Edge. So we can go back to the variable name and just change that to be Edge. And let's just save that. and then we can just run it. And then we can check the progress here. It's queued. We're just doing the same thing as before, running using the pipeline. And obviously the process is the same, going through all the steps of checking out the code, restoring the nugget packages, doing the build, publish the build, do the test and publish the results. So all this is repeated, but it should now pick up. It should open it in. It should open the test or execute the test on Edge rather than Firefox, rather than Internet Explorer. So here it has. It is initializing. It's checking out the code. Now it's restoring all the dependencies. And now it's restoring all the nugget packages. So it looks like this is the longest, the most time-consuming step. All the other steps seems to be quicker. 8 seconds, 9, 18. So this is the longest step. And that's done, and now it's building. And the building was successful. It's publishing the artifact to the output directory, and it's running now the test. For reference, to prove that it's opening Edge and not Internet Explorer, we're looking for anything to say MS Edge driver. I've just seen it over there, so it says MS Edge driver was opened successfully. We'll go back to it to confirm. It looks like all the tests passed again. So 10 total, 1 passed, 9 skipped. It's just finalizing the testing. And the test is completed. So if you go back to the test section, let's just confirm that it has definitely opened the MS Edge driver and not Internet Explorer. So we're looking for, here we go. MS Edge was started successfully, and then obviously he skipped all these tests here, and he only executed the one we are interested in, so which is 1. So yes, so that's it for now, and let's just have a look here and see what's happening here. All the runs, yeah. So I hope this makes sense. So what I've done is I've briefly shown you how to run a Spec Flow test against different browsers. So we've created a Spec Flow browser test using Selenium Web Driver. We've run the local test locally, and we ran the tests on Azure DevOps. We passed the variable and we changed it, so we proved that it will execute the test on the browser specified in the browser field. And then we verified that it has definitely opened the page and passed the test. So I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, please, or any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And hopefully I'll see you in the next lesson.